Kylian Mbappé vs Real Madrid will not happen as Mats Hummels books Champions League final for brave and brilliant Germans. Brick by brick they rebuilt their yellow wall here at the Parc des Princes, and come the end it was just too mighty for Paris Saint-Germain and Kylian Mbappé to scale. For Borussia Dortmund, the yellow brick road now leads to London. It was fitting that site foreman Mats Hummels scored the goal that takes them to Wembley for next month's final. Not only was the veteran centre-back the best player over both legs, Jadon Sancho was a close second, but he was part of the Dortmund team beaten in the final at the same stadium in 2013. Bayern Munich, their conquerors then, could yet join them for a rematch. But the showdown we had expected, Mbappé versus Real Madrid, the club he will sign for this summer, will not happen, and nor did it ever look likely on a night when a dull and insipid PSG were outshone by their own fans and Edin Terzic's brave and brilliant Dortmund. Don't let a shot count of 31 fool you, either. We got the right winners, that is for sure. Proud, said Terzic. If I have to pick one word, it is a proud moment for us, my staff, my team, the club. The dream is not over yet. It is unbelievable. It was an outstanding team performance. Ahead of the game, the front page of L'Équipe screamed, "Hearts and cries," a French proverb intended as a rallying call. They got the cries, at least in the form of Parisian tears. As for their heart, well, that belonged to Dortmund. Dortmund's veteran defender Mats Hummels scored the game's only goal in the second leg 1-0 win. Paris Saint-Germain players were visibly dejected at full-time after crashing out of the Champions League. Hummels and sidekick Nico Schlotterbeck pocketed Mbappé in the first leg and they did the same again. The fairytale ending for which the striker had hoped descended into a nightmare. Even when he did escape his captors late on, a scuffed shot was flipped onto the crossbar by Dortmund keeper Gregor Kobel. Mbappé looked to the skies, and it will be there that he soon departs for Madrid. His legacy will be evenings like this, so near and yet so far after 7 years of trying, and failing, to return the one crown PSG's Qatari owners crave. A tight match, but I think we deserve to win, said PSG boss Luis Enrique. We created 31 shots, for posts. In the 2 matches, we hit the post 6 times and didn't score. Football is so unfair sometimes. Anyway, congratulations to them, they are a great team. I hope they can win it. PSG's ultras made a plea in the hours before kickoff for all supporters to bring fire to the stadium. Having been burnt by the atmosphere in Dortmund last week, when their players managed to freeze amid a cauldron, this was their turn to inspire their own. It would be down to those on the pitch to reverse the scoreline, but at least those off it restored parity in the battle of the terraces. Last week's yellow wall was matched here by a sea of blue and red, the tide mark rising to the very last brick of what we had seen at the Westfalenstadion. It was quite a sight and sound. Come kickoff, a spring day had made way for a wild night. The wind that whipped through the claustrophobic side streets leading to the ground carried with it songs of London and a first Champions League title, supported by a backing band of fireworks and flares. PSG may have appeared at this stage twice in the past for seasons, but those games were behind closed doors. This, then, was the first time the locals had experienced such an occasion in 29 years. Not that there were any nerves. Enrique was typically bullish beforehand. On Va Gagna, he declared, "It's the only phrase I know in French, we are going to win." Goalscorer Hummels, middle, reveled in celebrations alongside his Borussia Dortmund teammates. PSG were favourites to win the semi-final clash but fell short against a battling Dortmund side. Mbappé was frustrated as Dortmund's defences marshalled him out of the game. Borussia Dortmund fans made their presence felt with tifos and setting off flares in the ground. Paris Saint-Germain hit the woodwork for times in the second leg clash but failed to score. PSG manager Luis Enrique was unable to turn around the first leg deficit against Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund manager Edin Terzic was delighted after reaching the Champions League final. Borussia Dortmund's loanee Jadon Sancho, left, produced another impressive performance for the German side. There were wild celebration on the Dortmund bench at full-time as they secured their place in the final. Mbappé found the target with a sweet volley gobbled by Kobel, but thereafter the home intensity faded. Mbappé's touches were heavy and PSG were light on ideas. Emmanuel Petit, meanwhile, said he could not see how Dortmund could qualify if PSG showed up. His final words of wisdom were this: "If I am a Parisian, from the first second I would grab them by the throat." It was shins and ankles they went for instead, and PSG started with a ferocity absent 6 days previous. Dortmund's Karim Adeyemi came closest to scoring before halftime when his shot was clawed to safety by Gianluigi Donnarumma. But the Italian was helpless 5 minutes into the second half when Hummels, unmarked, met Julian Brandt's wicked corner to head in from 6 yards. Seconds earlier, PSG's Warren Zaïre-Emery volleyed against the post when he should have scored from close range and, on the hour, Nuno Mendes cracked the same upright from distance. Mbappe's shot then clipped the bar and Vitinha's 30-yard blast also rebounded off it. No matter what they tried, the ball came back. Who needs to park a bus when you can build a wall? Next stop, London. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this, don't forget like and subscribe this channel. Goodbye.